Even though many people conflated the quote-unquote first iPhone to the 2007 iPhone that Apple unveiled to the world, in fact, it isn't. There was a phone from 1998 which was also called the iPhone. And no, it is not from Apple. It is an quote, internet touchscreen telephone, and quote, made by InfoGear called the Linksys iPhone. Cisco would later acquire InfoGear as well as the trademark of the iPhone name under the sub-brand Linksys in 2000. Similar to the iPhone, the Linksys iPhone combined the features of a regular phone with something else, but this time it was a web terminal and an email client. Due to the device's peculiarity, let's go over its history, conception, reception, as well as how Apple got the iPhone name. Back in the late 1990s, before the advent of modern smartphones, there has been this new trend of internet appliances where you could have smaller, purpose-designed devices that could not only surf the web and write emails, but also receive and make phone calls. One such product was product Mercury, which was an idea envisioned in 1995 by three engineers, Chaim Bendelak, Yuval Shahar, and Reuven Marco, and they were given company funds to essentially create a device that could work as both a phone and a web terminal. The project took place at National Semiconductor. After the project was envisioned, consultant and venture capitalist Robert Ackerman then saw Project Mercury and a prototype and thought, that's the future, and I quote, due to the fact the team has mostly taken parts from other devices, including an 8-bit processor from a fax machine, it was a crude prototype, and Ackerman would later reminisce that an 11-year-old would have built this prototype. Ackerman would later extricate the technology and found a company from scratch, which would later be called InfoGear Technology Corporation. Even though the negotiations were initially difficult, the situation would soon be ameliorated by Gilbert Amelio, the then president of National Semiconductor, which ironically became the next CEO of Apple in 1996 and would later purchase Next, which revitalized Steve Jobs' position as CEO. Therefore, in 1997, a new era was born. In 1997, a new device was conceived, and it was called iPhone. With a lowercase i and an uppercase P, just like that of Apple's iPhone. Ackerman then described the iPhone's nomenclature as, and I quote, the way we came at it is, we looked at the telephone as being the original information appliance. This was the evolution of the original information appliance on steroids. So iPhone was internet phone, information phone, and quote. Not only did the InfoGear iPhone have this nomenclature, but also several other tech products such as the community website iVillage, which would eventually be purchased by NBC, which actually derived its nomenclature from the iGolf channel, of which both were influenced by similar iCommunities on AOL. The iMac from Apple also shared similar naming conventions, and it was not just i. In fact, there was a similar trend of having a lowercase e with the products such as Apple's eWorld, eToys, and eMac, which was Apple's mid-2000s desktop computer, of which I actually saw at the Nikola Tesla Museum in Zagreb, Croatia. Not only are there similarities in the naming convention, there are also technical similarities of both the InfoGear and Apple iPhones, as they could do three things. As for the InfoGear iPhone, it could call, browse the web, and create emails. Not only was the InfoGear iPhone able to do all of these three tasks, it could do them succinctly, and InfoGear was obsessed with portraying the product as a consumer-friendly and easy-to-use product. Due to this, InfoGear hired Frog Design, which was renowned for designing various Apple products during the 90s. Even though there was a slide-down keyboard for the InfoGear iPhone, its prominent mode of user interaction was a 7.4-inch 640 by 480 monochromatic LCD touchscreen where graphical icons denote the web browser and the email server. This was during a time when touchscreens were still novelty. Just like the fact multi-touch was a novelty when the iPhone was released and certain features such as copy and paste were omitted. Even though manufacturing was promised to top out at $100 per iPhone, the touchscreen alone could cost $80, and therefore the company was not able to attain the $250 to $300 price tag. And due to the fact no partnership was in fruition, Therefore, in early 1998 at CES, exactly 9 years before the iPhone was unveiled, the InfoGear's iPhone sticker price was at, you guessed it, $499, which excludes the $19.95 per month internet fee. Sound similar? It sure does, because the iPhone also started at $499 on a 2-year contract. The InfoGear iPhone has seen ambivalent reviews from reviewers and connoisseurs, with some praising and others lambasting it. Personal computer world, not to be confused with PC world, called the InfoGear, and it quote, an exciting look at the future of telephony integration, and quote. PC world described the iPhone as, and I quote, well-designed product that smoothly combines phone, internet, and email access in one small console, unquote. Not only did it receive praise, it was also given the Innovation Award for CES 1998. However, not all was smooth, as the iPhone, similar to the iconic iPhone from 2007, lacked a ton of features, notably with the fact there was only 1 megabyte of RAM, a 16-bit processor, and that you could not call and browse the internet at the same time. Also, the price is kind of high. However, despite its shortcomings, there are 5 key innovations. Number 1, being one of the first touchscreen devices. Number 2, having an early mode of cloud computing. Number 3, having a prototypical version of visual voicemail using transcribed voice messages. Number 4, offering a Maps application. Number 5, and offering movie listings as well as digital magazine stand. Similar to Apple's iPhone, the InfoGear iPhone promised to coexist with bulky PCs at the time rather than replacing them. InfoGear would later come out with an iPhone 2 in 1999 with a redesigned keyboard, a 32-bit processor with 2 megabytes of DRAM and 2 megabytes of storage, and of course upgraded internals. However, despite attaining about 100,000 sales throughout its 2-year run, the iPhone was too ahead of its time, and due to this, InfoGear nearly collapsed. Luckily, there was one company in the room which would rescue InfoGear and the iPhone, and that is Cisco, a company which still stands to this day. Cisco would later purchase InfoGear in March of 2000 for $300 million, right at the peak of the dot-com bubble. Due to the acquisition, Cisco bought the naming and trademark rights of the InfoGear iPhone. Cisco would later continue to sell iPhones under the Linksys sub-brand. Fast forward to 2007, Apple announced the iPhone 2G, not really called the 2G, it was just called iPhone, which would later culminate into a major mobile phone revamp to the mobile landscape we see today. However, not everything was smooth because Cisco did sue Apple for trademark infringements. However, Apple negotiated with Cisco and finally settled the dispute on the 20th of February 2007, and that was when we saw the iPhone name. And nowadays, people mostly know iPhone for Apple's line of smartphones and not Cisco, not InfoGear's line of PDAs. Thank you guys for watching. Please give a big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.